Right, good morning. Sound, it looks like a bit quiet, but I'm not speaking loud either. It's down a bit. Maybe I'll touch it up just a bit. Try to speak up. Let me know if anyone hears this part, if the sound is too high or low. I can tweak it a bit further. Good morning, Paul Cutler. Nice to see you, my friend. Let's see. Is this one? Me shuffle these around just a bit. Yeah. All right. Yes. Good morning. Happy Saturday. For anyone that's new, quick introduction. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I usually stream around this time each week, 10 a.m. Central Time, Central US time, working on some stuff related to CircuitPython. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the main website here, circuitpython.org. Basically, this is a version of Python that primarily is intended to run on tiny computers called microcontrollers. There's a bunch of pictures of those over here. The idea with CircuitPython is you can plug it into your computer, usually with a USB cable. It shows up like a thumb drive, and then you can edit a Python code file on that thumb drive using whatever editor you want. When you save it, the microcontroller, the little computer that's in these chips, will actually read that Python code and interpret and execute it for you. So if you choose to use CircuitPython, that's how it works, but these devices are quite generalized. You can program them in lots of other ways. I will add on to the usual intro for today. We're going to be working in Blinka land. Blinka also has its own section on the CircuitPython page here. Although I will note, Blinka, there is a bit of a disambiguation, so to speak. Blinka is the name of the snake character for CircuitPython that's in the logo there. Blinka is also the name for the compatibility layer that lets CircuitPython code, or code that typically would run on one of these microcontrollers. The Blinka compatibility layer lets it run on other devices like Raspberry Pi, which is what I'll use today. And then it does also serve as a MicroPython, I think, compatibility layer, although I cannot attest to it. I have not really used it in that capacity, but with Raspberry Pis, which is what we'll be doing today, I must have... It's weird that only that one came up this time. I wonder what happened there. Interesting. That's probably my fault, because I messed with the search a while ago. Anyway, unrelated to the topic at hand, but mental note, come back and see if sometimes see if boards are disappearing from here. So Blinka lets you run code that would have been ordinarily for a microcontroller on a Raspberry Pi or other sort of larger Linux computer, which is still on a board, a relatively small board, all things considered, especially in the case of these ones, but still a much more powerful computer. I did not turn on the camera. Let me turn on the camera and I will show you not something particularly exciting, but the Raspberry Pi that we will work on, at least. Is that the IP now? Yeah, I guess so. How's it going, Tithe? Nice to see you, my friend. Love a good search bug. What was the search term? I searched for... I started typing Raspberry as if... Well, I left it here. Well, I think I erased some of it. I started typing Raspberry as if to search Raspberry Pi, and it worked the first time. And then I went back and I did something. I think I refreshed it again. I don't... Yeah. Oh, there. It's back now. I don't know what I don't know what I've done, but it's at least recorded in the stream more specifically. I don't know the timestamp either, though. Does this thing keep time? No. Oh, 6:26, probably 6:20-ish or so. It's in, maybe a little bit before, it's in the stream. But somehow, yeah, I got in this state where only one thing is, well, I mean, first of all, this says 0, even though there's clearly 1, so that's one problem. but also only one thing is showing, even though, like, presumably there should be more. Yeah, somehow the boards are deleted, which like feels like a big bug, but truthfully the way the search works is like adding and removing these elements from the page, so kind of makes sense that the search would be the culprit. So yeah, something fun. I still don't know the exact. I will say I still don't know the exact sequence. I searched Raspberry and it worked, although it doesn't look like the number is correct. Yeah, the number's not correct. I searched more of Raspberry, and then I went all the way back. Okay, so there's I think at least part of our problem is when I searched. I mean, it probably doesn't matter what you type, but when I search something and then erase it all the way, we end up on a page that does not have all the boards. We lost some boards. This is interesting. This looks like an Android phone. Let's not get too far down the weeds. Anyway, yeah, seems like probably me when I messed with search last broke that, so I will need to look into it. But that is going to be for a different day. Today, where we are actually headed is just Blinka DisplayIO land, which allows you to use Raspberry Pis with displays like SPI displays and I2C displays, which is what I have plugged in to this Raspberry Pi here. You can't really see the Pi underneath it, and it's not going to be easy for me to show it to you without unplugging it. But I will show you. We have the like I don't know, TFT. Pi TFT, one of these kind of things. I don't know the exact one. It's probably not this one, but it's this same basic thing that just sits on top of the Pi there with the header. And right now it's just blank on because I have not run any code with it, so I have a couple of tabs pulled up to look into, and I think actually this is probably going to be a good one to start with, which is about loading images, but more kind of in the weeds, and specifically it's about something inside the color converter is expecting a hexadecimal, just an integer number that represents a color, but something else inside the code is passing a tuple that's a like 0 to 255 tuple of numbers. Why is this changed? I added a print statement. That's fair. Do we leave it, or yeah, I think we leave it for now. Let's just leave that. And to see this bug, we can do a few things here. So I have so yeah, let me say how I have this kind of set up. The Blinka DisplayIO that we see in the IDE here is actually on the Pi. That's the Blinka DisplayIO that the Pi will use when we run one of these examples, which we're going to do here in a minute. We need to be virtual environment up with that one, like... Oh. Go activate. Nope, bin activate. Yes, that's the one. Examples. That's interesting. Oh, I think I downloaded an image. I was like, please tell me that's not like a key to something. I think I downloaded an image from GitHub or somewhere, and with wget, and it I didn't specify a name, and so we got the URL in the name, and the URL has a JWT token actually in it. So it is a token for something, but not mine, and also theoretically doesn't matter if it's public. It's already public. I think we should be able to maybe... Yeah, here's actually the same image, but with a real name that makes sense. We could probably delete that one. Freak myself out with that again next time. I don't have a super duper easy way to scooch that to the right necessarily. We should be able to just go like test maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Blinka DisplayIO is letting us do this to run this SPY display in this case and push some stuff to the screen. Will this work on a PC using a USB to GPIO chip like the FT? Yeah, it's supposed to. That's definitely the intention. I mean, Blinka at large, yes, that's the intention. Blinka DisplayIO, as far as I understand it, yes, that's also the intention. Although some of the bugs that we are looking at today did come to light in that context, so there may be stuff that doesn't work currently. Neradoc has been working, I think, with Blinka and a different one of those things, not specifically the FT23, but is there an MCP one that's kind of a similar concept, basically, where it's like that USB sort of breakout-y thing. Breakout? Maybe that? I don't know. No, that's a DAC. I don't know what it would be called. GPIO? But that doesn't have USB. I don't know. I might be misremembering the name. I don't think it was the FT23 one, though, because I do recognize that one, which is like a USB general purpose breakout-y thing. But I think there is a different one of these that Nerodoc's been using. Different part number, but same idea. And my understanding is it is intended to support displays through that thing from a regular PC. There you go. To MCP, yeah. MCP 2221. 2221. There we go. General purpose, yeah. They even call it the same thing. Just yeah. Not SPY displays, I guess, in this case, probably. But I think Nerodoc's been on I2C displays. Yeah, you might be able. I don't know. Maybe you could use SPY through the TXRX or something. Okay. So the basic one works. Probably this is a reproducer of the first issue we're going to look at. Is that right? Cat image test? What's that? Let's see here. That's going to just load the image. Test image. Yeah, I think this might show us the issue basically. So I was going to fix the focus so slightly. All the way, it seems. Okay. 211. FT was SPY as well. Oh, okay. The FT one does have SPY. Then I think that one should also probably be able to work with SPY displays. I can't say as though I've done it. I did buy one, it looks like, so I could try it out. Yeah, I should play with these things. These are definitely an interesting thing to like do hardware from your PC without needing to set as much stuff up. Okay, I think we focused up, so we're ready to go to the camera, which is right there. I'm gonna scooch it, and then we can run on image test, which I think will, yes, raise the exception because ultimately it gets inside of color converter and it tries to call min max, max min on max value and value, but one of them is a tuple, not an int. Pixel, whichever one ends up being pixel when it gets passed inside of clamp. Value, probably. And actually, I have code that fixes this, although I don't know if I pushed it. we need to push that. Which means I need to also open the other one of these. And then close it afterwards so that I do not get confused between them. That would be terrible. This is on main. I think I committed it, but didn't fix it. No, maybe I didn't even commit it. Sleep. Or maybe it's just chilling here uncommitted. That's actually probably the answer. Best of all worlds. Not really, but it works. I think. Please let me see the code. Thank you. Yeah, this was the fix. So I added RGB tuple to hex, which we should try to search for and see if that exists elsewhere first, because it feels like the kind of thing that might already be inside Blinka DisplayIO somewhere, but I didn't find it with a relatively quick search. We could do a bit better, maybe. But I added that function, and then I, inside of convert pixel, which is somewhere in this chain, convert pixel right there, I said if the pixel is a tuple, then convert it to hex. I think what I will do is make a branch and push it, because this is on my PC, whereas the one we want to work in is on the Pi, and just using GitHub will be convenient to transfer it over. We're just going to go new branch, tuple int fix. Gonna undo this for now. Run pre-commit again later. I'm gonna leave the prints in for now. Tuple int fix color converter. What's up, epic person? Nice to see you this morning, my friend, over on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Tuple int fix in color converter. Yes, we can push that. Guy. And then over here, honestly, it might be nice to have two. Might be nice to leave one there. Okay, so we are currently on bitmap color depth, which was a different fix. This was from a PR. Do we have my remote? No. Remote rename origin. Whoops. Adafruit, get remote, add foamy guy. Oops, we're already on foamy guy. Fetch foamy guy. Did checkout foamy guy. What did I just call that? Tuple int fix. Yeah. Fix in color converter. Okay, that's what we want. So we should maybe be able to just try running this again and see. That it no longer crashes, but it also doesn't work. Wait, actually, is it working? I don't remember. This might, no, that was just dust. Okay, one of the images I was working with was very small, like 4 by 4 pixels, so it might have appeared as though it was a speck of dust. This one I don't think is, but we should look at it. I don't actually remember. I cannot see it easily from here, actually. Let me just do... Oh, okay. It's like, is it corrupted? No, it's not corrupted. It's pretty small. It's like, I don't know, maybe 10 by 10 or something, but It could have scaling in it as well. In any case, it's not working. I would like to be able to see the code for it as well, so I guess we're gonna open up another one of these. Okay. Does that look right? Is that right to like some other software? EB3D100 is 235610 RGB. Oh, this doesn't go to 255. Oh, that looks relevant. Nice. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Value, max value. Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't work. It's definitely not showing, right? Could be bottom, no. Well, it was right side up with hello world, actually, so it should be. Okay, let's try a bitmap. Also, is this, so it's currently RGB. I don't remember, does it do, let's try indexed also. Still nothing. You wouldn't have, like, we would have auto refresh on, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have auto refresh. Oh, it is scaled actually, so it should be pretty big when we see it. All right, let's try a bitmap. I think I found the problem with the search on circuitpython.org. I'll post a PR with the fix later. That is awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Still nothing on that either. I'm like really suspicious of the surrounding code. We load the image. We have image and palette. We make a tile grid with image and palette and XY, and we put it in the splash, and splash is the root group. Yeah, I mean, see any reason why that shouldn't be working. Let's back it up a step here and just make our own image and palette equals a bitmap of, I guess it wants DisplayIO.bitmap. What is that gonna want? Width and height and then color count? Yeah, so 10, 10, 3 maybe? Palette. Let's do red, green, and blue. since they're different than white and black and easier to see. Image.fill with 0. I guess it probably will be 0 to begin with, but whatever. See if we can see it at all. We need a tile grid, though. You can't just put a bitmap in a group like that. Yeah, I wish I could see this stuff. Could you? Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Have image load, otherwise it would fail to run, not just like not work. And this works with other colors too, right? Get green this time. Oh. Yeah. Okay. I mean, does this bitmap have the stuff that we expect in it? So I think that's probably correct. 0, 1, 2, 3. So red, blue, green, white. Green is in the top left, which is what I asked it for, and we got 2, which is green. If we were to go down by, like, we went 1, 1, we should get blue. Which is, yeah. Okay. So the bitmap itself is fine. I mean, I don't... This doesn't make a difference, does it? I'm not doing X and Y. I don't think that should make a difference either, though. Oh, is it there, but very dark? Am I seeing things? How can I test if it's there, but very dark? Put something behind it. Maybe that math in the color converter is wrong. But I mean, it is a 4 tuple, which I found strange. Maybe I treated the 4 tuple wrong, but we converted GIMP and got the same color? Anyway, let's put something behind it and see what happens. So we could actually kind of find these two together, maybe. Only different names. BG bitmap. BG bitmap. Let's make that white. Can you mix case? Probably, I guess. It's just weird to do. Fill with white, that. It will... Let's make it bigger, like... Let's just do that so it's bigger than 10 by 10. Okay, so that's going to put that before... Oh, we want to call it something else, though. TG, background tile grid. Okay. It's definitely not there, but just dark. I mean, does that... I mean, the palette has to be wrong? Is the palette wrong? But I mean, just be wrong because it works. Palette object. Are these... I've done this too many times. Okay. Okay. So those are right. So far, at least. Where's red? So the palette's right, the bitmap's right. We created the tile grid, we put the tile grid into the group. Doesn't show. Okay. We are really going out on a limb with this hypothesis, but does anything change if I move the group? No. I mean the position. Actually, the position didn't move. So... Did it? So that would be an unscaled pixel. So let's go bigger. That has not moved. What does that tell us? It feels like it's not refreshing or something. But I mean, presumably auto refresh is true. Okay, let's real slow. Walk through this, just make sure I'm not way off base in my expectations. Release displays, get the spy bus, get the pins, make the display bus, make the display. Make the splash, and it's on scale 4. Set the root group of the display to the splash. So everything we put inside splash should get shown on the display. Create the background bitmap, 2020, 3 colors, create a palette, fill it with 3 colors. Put 0 in the background bitmap. Create a tile grid with the bitmap and the palette. We have overwritten palette. That's one thing we've messed up here, I guess. But that can't be the cause of all of our troubles, because at this point we have moved X and it's just not doing anything, which is also wrong. Okay, background palette. Now we have fill it with 0, tile grid. Add the tile grid to the splash. Whoops. Load. Test image indexed BMP. Print the colors from the palette. Print the index, the color index of the pixel at 1,1. Is that right? At 1,1. Yeah, I think 1,1 is the blue, right? Yeah. Image tile grid has a different name. Gets image, gets palette, append it, and then we just never see it. And also, if we move it, it doesn't move. I definitely saved. And this definitely has the new code. Definitely running image test. So if we don't load this one, does it change anything? No, and in fact, it's still white. Oh, this one crashed. Tile grid, fill area. Float can't be interpreted as integer. Display core fill area. Float can't be interpreted as integer. Where does this trace to our code though? Trace to our code because it's in the background. Well, that is tricky. Group fill area. Interpreted as int. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. All right. Well, there's more issues here than I had thought, it seems. It's very strange how well the simple test works. I mean, I changed this to 2? Module board. Okay, that crashes the same way now. So scaled down, it still renders, but can we move it? Okay. Am I crazy, or was it... Did it not... Was it not Was it crashing before? I thought it was not crashing with this. It runs with this. But still doesn't show the thing we loaded. That is very strange. That is like very, very strange. Okay, I got nothing. That's like, I mean, this stuff should not affect anything at this point because it doesn't get added to the group. So it's just getting objects created that never get shown or done anything with. And when it runs this way, it doesn't crash. But without these, which again, shouldn't do anything, right? Image palette, load the image, print the colors, print the color of 1-1, create a tile grid. Nothing in here should affect anything if it doesn't get added to the group. So without those, though, it crashes, but only if we try to change the X and Y of the group. Okay. Let's see. Let's step back a bit from here. So this runs, right? This runs as is. Yeah. Okay. And what happens if at the end of this we just move splash? Does it work or no? Try one at a time. Crashes. Does Y do anything different? I mean, I would not think so, but we're already way past things that I would think. Okay, crashes. And actually, I don't know if I just didn't look close enough before, but there is actually a hint about what part of our code is crashing it, even though we are not part of the stack trace. Pixel X, pixel Y. Okay. Okay. Let's make an issue for this so that we're not, so that we're making sure everything, is this the same thing? No, this is a different thing. So we have another thing there. Let's make an issue. Let's make sure there's not one, I guess. A float int something? Float? No. Floats. Int tuple, which is what we're trying to fix. But this is irrespective of that, right? Let's go back to main on Blinka DisplayIO and make sure that this still, that it does the same thing on main, right? Because I have my modification here, which fix the tuple int thing for loading images. We don't need that right now though. Git check out Adafruit main. Tuple. Adafruit main. Should have done this first actually. Okay. We're on main. Git status. We have changes in that. How do I see them? Git restore to discard changes. Oh, I think that was just the print though. Yeah, I think that's this print. That's fine. Okay. Run main. Yeah. Okay. Let's do X instead of Y. I don't think it really matters, but feels more appropriate. Kind of for some reason. I don't know why. Moving group. See, but that's weird. Like the fact that it doesn't crash when you create the other tile grid in bitmap makes it like impossible to understand or document. Is it like a timing thing? If I put a sleep in between them, does it matter? Well, but but this one just doesn't even have the whole thing. But how could the timing change between a float and an int? It should take 2 seconds longer, but still have the same problem, presumably. Okay. All right. Changing group X or Y raises type error. Oh. I9 something something, I don't know. I9341. Okay. So we'll cut some space out and we don't really need it anyway. GitHub has this new stuff, like the UI. The UI is different here. I don't even know what I just clicked. I clicked on the tiny icon inside the big icon. I don't even know what it does. I kind of was expecting it to drop. Didn't it? It had a little drop. Am I crazy? It had a little drop down, right? Chevron, didn't it? That's usually like drop down, isn't it? Anyway, GitHub's got some new stuff. They had this I just saw the other day. I don't really know what's going on with it. I guess it's probably tied to the drop down. I don't know. It was weird. Good thing I was done. Yeah. Okay. Let's dig into this a bit. It wasn't on my initial list, but obviously it's like another problem. And really my goal was to try to fix a couple of problems with Blinka DisplayIO. So it took us a bit to figure out we had a new one. Let's try to dig into it a bit. I think fill area. So let's start with just printing these. I mean, I assume one of these is a float for some reason. Even without scale. So that's in tile grid 314 fill area. It's the pi line number. Nice. So inside of fill area, it does indeed, for input pixel Y, blah, 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 for input pixel X, blah, blah, blah. And it's telling us that one of these is a float, presumably. Start X, type, start X, index, X. I'm just going to keep this big. There's not really anything to see on the screen anyway. Interesting. So it 135 float. $35. I mean, low-hanging fruit would be just pass them to int so they change. I mean, it's already an int anyway, but Where'd they come from? Why are they floats? This iteration is probably a thread we should pull on instead of just changing them to ints. So why come from? Start X transformed. Transformed is an area transform within. Well, transform within. What is area? Area is from here. Class to represent an area to be updated, x1, y. So it's like a rectangle. And it has a what? Transform within? Which takes the DisplayIO transformations, mirror, x, y, and transpose. Okay. Does it come out of there as a float randomly once? Well, I mean, it's maybe more than once, but right before it crashes? So this is gonna change. This is a static method, and it is gonna modify transformed. It's gonna modify the area that is passed to it, called transformed, the last argument. So original, whole, and transformed. Transformed is gonna come out different. So it was an empty, null, whatever, blank at first. It's gonna come out with its values. And then for these to be floats, I think the only way that happens is if the values on this are floats. One or the other, or both. Transformed. Can I just print the whole thing, or? Let's also do current area. Cur area. Transformed area. There's our 295. Oh, wait, we had 235. Oh, 60. 290. 295. No, we had two. Ew, I transposed these last time. I thought we had the same number, but it's actually 235 and 253. But 235 is 295 and 60. So cur area has floats for some reason. Okay. So that's not even transformed, though. That's cur area. And it has one float and one int. I mean, there must be, like, division or something. Where did this get modified from? Oh, that's not working. Current area. Compute overlap? Does this modify current area? No, this only modifies overlap. Where does current area come from? Copy into previous area? Okay. Fill area is filling current area. Something else must be populating it. Absolute transform. Okay. This looks promising. Maybe transform times, but that's not going to change it to a float, I don't think. Update current Y. Update current X. Does my stack trace come through here? Update current Y. No. It's part of the problem though, is because like we're changing the X, but then the exception comes from the refresh thread. And like we can kind of correlate the fact that we changed X and that ultimately led to this, but it doesn't let us trace all the way through from X change to exception because of the way the threads are broken up. Update current X, pixel width, pixel height. This is inside of a knit. And I mean, the tile grid got a knitted forever ago, so presumably it was ints at that time. So the only place where this is changing really is here. I don't see any floats, but I guess absolute. Maybe one of these turned into a float somehow. So let's say at the end of this, let's say print inside update cur x current area. And in here, update cur y current area. We're slowing it so far down by adding prints. That's fine. Okay. It didn't even go through there. We just didn't even, none of those even printed. Okay. All right. But nothing else changes current area. How does current area change? Copy into previous area? Copy the area into another one. So this changes destination. If moved and not first draw previous area union current area dirty area? Union. Combine this area along with another into a union empty. So we're saying previous union current dirty. Combine this area with another. Other is current. So are we changing other? We're calling union. No, we're setting union X. So we're not changing other. We copy ourself into union. If other is empty, then we copy other into union. Okay, nothing in here changes other, which is current area. So again, nothing has changed current area. How is it suddenly having a float? And I even saw as this was scrolling by, these are printing and current area is definitely not having floats in it. Okay, so we have pulled on this thread. But it seems to just spawn into the universe infinitely without a different end somehow. It's not ideal. I can't really wrap my head around I mean, could it be out? Would it something outside of tile grid changes the tile grid's current area? And I mean, we printed like hold on, let me do this. Maybe what if maybe it return? There's no returns? No returns. Inside update current Y. Just put this right up at the top. Also, I got to put up the sun blocker. So 1 sec. Okay. Yeah. So back here, that was getting called a lot. Oh, okay. So back here, that was getting called, actually. But it does not get called. Right before we crash. Let's look in here. Refresh area inside a bus display. Except I don't know where it is. Bus display init. So that calls core fill area subrectangle. Subrectangle. I mean, presumably, does that have the floats in it? The subrectangle? Terminated string literal. I mean, technically that's true, but like, it's gonna slow it way down again. It's not really anything different or useful here, actually. All right, let's turn off the startx index ones. These are printing too much. Yay, threading. Oh my. Okay. 402 refresh area. What which comes literally immediately after 401 refresh area, which prints subrect, which never got printed. How did we crash with a stack trace that came through line 402 without ever executing line 401? Okay, back up here it must be. And it definitely doesn't have any floats in it, so top left, bottom right. Okay, that's just the whole display. That's fine. Okay. So we went... I don't know how the threading got so messed up in this one. I wish the stack trace was still just in one. So I could get the one from GitHub. Okay, yeah. So then we went to display core, which called fill current group fill area. Okay, let me look in group fill area actually. Fill area 169 is here, which called layer fill area with color space area, mask and buffer area, probably an area. So let's print that. Print area. Yeah. I almost want to turn off some of these, actually. Inside update XY. Let's turn those off for now, since we... like, it's not setting them to floats inside there, seemingly. All right, got our stack trace back to a little bit more manageable. So area is it's becoming transformed. In fact, area here is transformed here, seemingly, but cur area turned to floats. Top left 6020. I don't even know why the top left. I don't know why that would be that way. But and we don't print that before, so we... yeah, so when we pass this down from group, area is not having any floats in it. So we want, I guess, tile grid fill area, but that's where we started? Or no? Yeah, this is where we started, basically. Which does the transform, but then by the time we... so let me print current area at the beginning. Like, are we seriously not changing this, but somehow it's changing? Because that's, like, tripping me out a little bit. Also, I gotta run to the restroom. BRB. Okay, sure enough, as soon as we get into fill area, her area has floats in it. Um, hmm. I don't know if this would actually be able to find stuff outside tile grid. See, like, this is so bizarre that nothing in here changes it. I mean, this changes it, but we printed these out. We never saw any floats come out of it. Those are like the only places where it ever gets changed, and we never saw it get changed to a float. Like in this file, they're the only places I can see so far where it ever gets changed. We can see that it's not getting into a float there, but as soon as we come into fill area on that last iteration before we crash, already for some reason self.current area is having floats in it. And right before tilegrid.fill area is group.fill area, which is just going through layers. Is it a specific one? See if we can narrow it to which layer is broken. Hey Tim, in Python you get a float anytime there's division. Yeah. No, I know that. And I assume that's probably happening somewhere, but trying to find where. Although I will say I'm reaching pretty much the end of my rope, so to speak, for pulling on this thread, and I might just convert it to an int here pretty soon and call it good. But like I'm trying to understand, like, is it actually broken somewhere else or just not getting converted to an int? And so in part of doing that, I was trying to trace back to where it is becoming an int, but I'm not succeeding very much. If we don't have the text, does it still happen? Yeah. So I think it will be good actually to narrow this down. So let's keep just knocking stuff out of this and see if we keep getting the same thing. So that one actually painted the screen green, but it did still eventually crash. Well, that's, yeah, because the background one is green. I mean, okay, so let's come at this from a different angle. I'm changing the X of group. I'm changing the X of group. So let's start there. Group X property. x. Space. Okay. Setter. Okay, so when you set the x property, let's start at current area. Yeah, current area. Yeah, so inside of Blinka DisplayIO is where we are. And inside of the fill area function for tile grid, I print out self.currentArea of the tile grid. And on the iteration before it crashes, that is a float. But there are a bunch of iterations before that where it's an int and it's just fine. But yeah, then it's a float and it crashes. And so I'm trying to understand, like, I mean, like, ultimately, why is it a float? But that involves where did it get changed, which is where we're at now, is like, not even really seeing where it's getting changed. But I think maybe we're onto something with this. So where was x property? So when you set x, if it is not an int, then you get an exception. Fair enough. If self dot underscore group x does not equal value, so I guess that's kind of like if the current x is not, if it's different, if we actually need to move. If transpose, then dy value equals, there's a division. I mean, that's a division. Update child transforms, this is going to be it. In group, so for layer, update transform, absolute transform, update transform, tile grid, update transform. But this just calls update current x and update current y, which we saw before didn't have any floats in them. But I mean, this has to be where we're coming from. This has to be where we're coming from, I think. X.value update. A child transforms. I'm going to print these out. Print absolute transform. Abs transform. Okay. Transform struct does have 40.0, which I presume is part of our problem. So do I keep chasing and try to do like int at the source, or just call it good for now? I mean, the division here definitely seems suspect as a potential place for this, right? Because that's dy value. I mean, we're probably dealing with x, I guess. Abs transform xy true. How's it going, Jose? Nice to see you, my friend. Okay, so yeah, we got false, and we do have 40.0. And then I presume 40.0 somehow is going into the 360 as well, ultimately, to make it a float too. I mean, I will say though, like, our scale is 1. Unless I am mistaken. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because when you divide, you get a float. It doesn't matter. Fair enough. So, should we do this? It didn't crash, and it moved. Now we only need to remove like about 700 print statements. Turn a bunch of things back on and see if it all still works. Let's do the Y while we're here, and we might as well. We can make this back to small now since there's actually something to see. Is there a separate one of those for Y? There's probably a separate one of those for Y. Yeah, because we're in the X setter. Fair enough. Let's do the Y setter. Oop, too many. Using DisplayIO, I keep everything a float until the end. Only the pixels go back to int. It's probably not a... Yeah, it's probably not a bad way to do it. Probably not a bad way to do it. But I think I also kind of see light in convert it to an int ASAP because it's representing a integer concept. Like there's a whole number of pixels. We can't turn on half a pixel or set half a pixel to a certain thing or anything. And since we're dealing with XY coordinates, my thought is like we should set it to an int as soon as we know it's not an int already, basically. It would cause issues in some situations for sure though as well. Like there's something in the turtle library actually which springs to mind recently where it was converting to ints too soon, and so it was causing an issue where like if you move the turtle, you know, like 1.5 and then 1.5 again, like you should draw 3 pixels in that scenario. And previously it wasn't because it was rounding down to ints on every move, so it was moving one and then another one. But the turtle is kind of an odd one out that kind of like brings float mathematics into the pixel drawing world. Okay, that should fix the Y, I think. Let's try that. Nice. Okay, let's turn the rest of this stuff back on. It's gonna be messed up with this though. Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, it took it a second to refresh. Like, during the refresh, it was looking messed up, but that's fine. That's during the refresh. After it's done, it finished. Everything's how we expect. Okay, so we are gonna do what to unwind this? I think I need to close this ASAP because this is on my computer, not the Pi, and it doesn't have the changes, and I will get wrecked if I start editing that one while I think I'm doing the other one. Okay, we need to get rid of all the prints. And I need to be on a branch. I thought I made a branch. It's not the place to run that. I mean, it might work, actually. I don't know if it would work or not. It might work. I still don't think it's the best place to run it. We are not on a branch. We're not on a branch. Can I just check out from here? -B group position fix, I guess. It ended up being like the setter inside of group is where we changed it. So group position fix float. Okay, that works. Please tell me that didn't just change. Oh, well, actually, it might be kind of nice if it had undone all my changes. That would get rid of all the prints, and we know where the divideds need to go now, so. This looks like the same problem, right? Does not look like the same problem? Alright, let's get rid of our prints. Do we want to? No, let's keep them actually for a second. If I change splash.scale to 2, does it then crash again? Oh. It's unfortunate. It does. Alright, we should fix it there too. I presume it's the same issue, right? Oh, well, yeah, kinda, pretty much. Although, I'm sure about why we're on 6. Why are we on 6? Does this have other scales in it? Oh. Text group is already scaled by 3. Fair enough. But this, okay, yeah, right here, 2.0. This is the one I was expecting to find. And it is there as well. Okay, yeah, we need to fix it there too. Honestly, maybe we should try... Of course, now I've wrecked it by adding the other ones. Well, we could have a space and then another space. Parent scale? Yeah, that should be 2, right? Probably. Should it? Parent scale, what does it get used for? Yeah, totally, we need it to be, otherwise this is going to be a float too, so let's do that. Okay, no more results for space divided by space, which means there should be no more float division in here. It should all be integer division now. So does that run? And again, looks messed up in the middle. That's fine, no problem. And yeah, we're good now. It's scaled to, most of it's off the screen, obviously. That's all fine, though. It's not crashing. That's what we want. Okay, now we want to get rid of the prints, which we are going to do by doing this, going to these, Basically just using a bunch of this stuff. Yoink. Yoink. Okay, these are our actual changes. Yeah, we wrecked it a little bit here, though. Wait, we didn't wreck it a little bit. Sorry, my language is sometimes more negative than it should be. Really extreme to say we wrecked it. We wrecked our ability to use this easy button of absolute convenience and instead have to, like, manually erase lines of code. Very small problem in the grand scheme of things. Oh, that we don't want, actually. That we want back. I don't know why I'm suddenly just not using the easy button of convenience anymore. All right, those the last of them? The last of them. Contents are identical. Need to save it to get it to go away. Okay, yeah, that's what we want. So now the only changes should be the divided bys. Yeah. All right, before we just go all the way and commit that and call it good, what if we were to not change the group? Is this also a problem for, like, tile grid? So if I said, like, inner sprite.x equals 40, is that going to also break or no? Because we only fixed it inside of group. Okay, that one's fine. And tile grid doesn't have scale. Only group has scale, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay. I guess we could also do this trick as well. This was actually, so space divided by space will find us any float division. In fact, we could get grep space divided by space, but maybe we need a, because I couldn't even think of the right word before it became irrelevant, honestly, because we don't need it because it found all of them. Escape sequence, basically, I was trying to think of. I think all of the rest of those are fine. So sleep can take floats, sleep can take floats. This is doing integer division, but it's also, or I mean float division, but it's also passing it to int right here. Not entirely sure what's going on with that. Sleep, again, that's fine. This isn't a comment. So I think all the rest of those are actually fine. So theoretically, that should be our only float problem caused specifically by float division. Okay. I think that I could commit from here, but I'm actually not gonna, because it's like I have this project open and I have SSHFS, which is letting me kind of see the project files as though they're on my drive, even though they're actually on the Pi. So, like, I don't know how Git would work from the terminal here, which would be essentially the same as what this is going to do. But over here, I am SSH'd in to a terminal on the Pi. All right, so we have changes inside group. We want to add those changes. I don't do this from the command line that much, so this will be good practice. So we want to add that. That should make this different, and then we can go commit fix, or let's just say int division in group props. Oh, haven't done that stuff. Git config global user That's the downside of doing it from the Pi, is it's a, well, actually, there's going to be another downside. In fact, I am willing to give this a try. Let's give this a try instead. Of course, now we've already made a commit. Have we? No, we didn't. It failed to commit because I don't have that stuff. We added, but that doesn't matter. Okay, let's try to make the commit from here, actually, because it's already going to have my token and everything. Otherwise, I got to go do that. Yeah, we'll just use the same one, which was int division in group props. Int division in group. Works fine, he says before it's actually done pushing. Seems like it works fine. Yeah, like it works. Cool, that's good to know, actually, because that's way more convenient to use Git terminal from my PC than the Pi. Not impossible to do from the Pi, but much more convenient. Okay, so this in division, did I really skip? Yeah, okay. I'm not going to bother trying to amend that, but accidentally left off the T there. Resolves the error that we just opened. Inside of scale, X and Y properties of group was using float division, which ultimately raised type errors, and it attempted refresh display. This changes all properties to use integer. Tested with tested. Okay. I will ping Lady Ada. I've been, as I'm doing more work for Adafruit full time or getting up towards full time, she's been having me ping her on all of these to kind of see what I'm getting up to on time. All right. Well, it was not the error that I thought. It was not the issue that I thought we were going to dive into. What was the one that I started on? So I want to look into this still, but there's not really enough time, I don't think, to do that justice. I would like to look into this, but I kind of suspect it's somewhat likely the same. Yes, this is where we started, was integer tuple. Yeah, and then right out of the gate, we just were not even seeing the images at all. So do we see images now that some of these other things have been fixed? I mean, no, probably not, right? Because we weren't changing the X or Y of the group, really. All right, what is inside of image test currently? What are we about to run that actually does? I don't even remember where we left it. So image test has the background image. It is currently unscaled. I don't think we need this stuff as much anymore. Yeah, so I started doing this, and that's how we went down the road we just found our way back from. All right, currently this does not have the loading in it. Let's put that back. So that is a indexed BMP. That gets put into there, that gets put into there, okay. So theoretically, let me actually use pink in the background since pink is not present in the source image at all, whereas white, which it was on a second ago, is. Okay, we're back to where we started. But now we can move this and it won't crash. He says, at least like 50% confidently. And it won't crash and it will move? Why didn't it move? You serious? Did I rerun it? Test? Why didn't it move? Oh boy. We moved the tile grid, does it move? I mean, it doesn't crash. That's a step in the right direction. Confused. Are those palette hex colors getting truncated? Not sure what you mean. I don't think so. I'm not sure what you mean. If we move the X and Y before we add it to the splash, does that make a difference? It does. So that kind of feels like an auto refresh problem again. I mean, not again, but we moved the splash before we put anything in it. Does that work? Does. If we explicitly call refresh, does that make a difference? So altering properties doesn't cause refreshes. Well, I don't know that I would go so far as to put it quite that definitively just yet. Definitely the symptoms make it seem like that in this case, but I suspect it may be somewhat more nuanced than just all the time. It will always do that, no matter what. I mean, this I don't think should really make a difference. So now we are back to moving the splash, and we're also back to moving it after everything has already been added, presumably after it's already been drawn. Yeah, but we don't actually see the move reflected, so that time sleep definitely made no difference. And we could even exacerbate that larger, and it still will not matter. Hypothesis. Okay, correct. I have no idea except adding to Twitch. You're killing me here. There we go. Adding to main root group or appending items in the stack. Maybe guarantee the refresh. Adding new items. We could try adding items, or like, wonder if we like, what if we hide and show? Flash dot hidden. It's true. Flash. It's false. So will it hide from its original position and then show from its next position, or just not hide at all since it's not refreshing? Okay, or option 3. Or option 3, which includes, you can't really see it, but it drew the image. Option 3 is we still have the first one, which is cool. We also have the second one, and we have the image now, which is a really neat trick, actually. So I bet if we didn't move this, we could just do this and get the image, probably. Is this sleep necessary? Can we just true false it? That was that was not one of the options I expected, but it's kind of cool. No, we don't. We're back to no. So then that's without this. So if we put this back, there's no way that moving it and sleeping together makes the image work, right? There's no way, right? It has to be. Okay. Okay, we got the image. Again, it doesn't focus right. I can't, like, maybe I can try to give you a little bit of a, I don't know what they call that. Like, I'm thinking of the thing that, like, spins and it has the jumping horse in the background. Lithograph or something, maybe? I don't know the right term. Anyway, the way the light works doesn't let this focus, but it did draw the picture that time. So yeah, I think actually you're onto something. Something about when the like it's not deciding to refresh correctly. It's not knowing it's either. So I know at one point there was like dirty regions where it would like compute the rectangles, and that's what some of the area stuff that we saw inside DisplayIO core was. What I don't know is like, does that take effect, or does it just use the entire screen as a dirty area, which I think it was originally, at least. Brightness at 0.13 for the qualia. This is, I am capturing from a phone. Although, does it have a there might be a brightness thing, I don't know. So one thing we can do is, somewhat counterintuitively, the light actually helps it focus better, but it just causes a giant sun glare. So that's a trade-off. Oh, brightness on the display. Yeah, that's a good thought. Of course, I don't want to add too much. Let me actually see. Would be pretty convenient. I don't think I thought about the display brightness. That would actually probably help with pie portals and stuff too. I'm not actually sure if it's brighter or darker. I have no idea to what extent like Blinka DisplayIO supports brightness either, truthfully. It might not actually support it in Blinka DisplayIO. Doesn't seem any different. But okay. Did this pass? Yeah. Sometimes this doesn't work. Okay. I think I will wrap it up for now there. We found a new problem. We fixed a new problem. I understand more about a different problem that we found when we were trying to look into the fix for this problem. But actually, we found two new problems. Yeah, we did. I should probably make an issue for the other one, which is that just the basic sort of image load. I think I'm gonna not do it right now, but what I'll do is I'll go back and grab one from image load, like the image load simple test. I'll marry it up with the IL9341 simple test. That way we have base level, definitely works on microcontrollers, definitely expected to work as far as I'm aware everywhere. And then I'll submit the issue with that one. That way it's not my custom code and it's not the image that's been converted from PNG and back and forth and indexed and not indexed and everything else. But yeah, it seems like the refresh, what I'll call broadly the refresh issue, it's not knowing when to refresh correctly. We can kind of force it with hidden true false and a sleep in between. That's one to look into next time. Integer division we got worked out, and then I'm pretty sure I actually have the fix for this as well. It's just that trying to test it uncovered the other stuff, so that will have to come on a different day as well. Thanks for the stream. Have a good weekend. Yep, you as well. Thanks for hanging out. Kayeth in Twitch, as well as everyone over on Discord. Hope you all have a good rest of your day, good weekend, all that stuff. Yeah, just a reminder for anyone who is usually coming to the meetings on Mondays. We do have the US holiday, so meeting is Tuesday this week. So I will probably talk to you next then. Meeting on Tuesday. So see you later. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.